Hi, good evening, everyone. We would like to call our East Haven Economic Development Commission meeting to order, our regular meeting Thursday, September 11th, to order at 7:02. And at this time, we're going to do a quick roll call. Dave?
Here.
Amy?
Here.
Lori, I'm here, and Rich?
Here.
We do have a quorum. We are going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And at this time, today happens to be September 11th, so we would like to pause and have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, so next on our agenda is our approval of the minutes from our last meeting, August 14th.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Motion-
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. And correspondence, do we have any correspondence?
No.
None? Hearing none, we are going to move right along to the director's report.
For those, I'll put my glasses on. So we'll start with zoning permits. 18 James Street, approval for a cottage food business, a bakery known as Brick House Sourdough. 672 Main Street, new owner, new signage. The restaurant will be called Wangus. Now, it's formerly My Little Columbia. And Wangus is a combination of the words Wagyu and Angus beef, which I believe they will feature. Now, this is, I also think, and this is, I think is really good, they will still serve authentic Colombian dishes. So along with those two, that great beef added to their menu. So looking forward to that. 56 Nicole Court, approval for a cottage food business, a bakery known as Lazy Crumb. And 170 Main Street, all new signage on site for Bank of America. Site plan reviews, application number 25-26, East Haven Planning and Zoning Commission, a petition for a text change to the East Haven zoning regulations to allow salons and art galleries within the CB2, CC, and CD zoning districts. That was approved on September 3rd. Application number 25-28, Tejas Patel, 427 Foxton Road, an application for a special exception to allow an ice cream parlor within a vacant commercial space. Now, that's at Krauser's, and that was approved on September 3rd, 2025. But previously, I think Krauser's used that for storage and the like, and now that will be, they will be serving ice cream out of there. So, good news there. Application number 25-29, a petition for a text amendment to East Haven zoning regulations, regulatory accessory outdoor dining areas for restaurants and food service establishments. A public hearing is scheduled for November 5th of this year. Application number 25-32, Charles Kulangara, 9 Old Foxton Road, an application for a site plan review to locate a small limousine service known as Alton Limousine Service at an existing commercial property. And that was also approved on September the 3rd. Priyal Garala, application 25-37, 182 Commerce Street, an application for a site plan review to locate a bottle recycling facility within an existing commercial space, again at 182 Commerce, and that was approved on September 3rd. In the pipeline, and this is something that we have discussed just about monthly, and I feel we're on the other side of that now. 990 Foxton Road and 159 Old Foxton Road were sold. Demolition is just about complete. Last I looked, the house was down, that's the 159, and just about all of the old Seasons restaurant has also been demolished. Also, zoning permit applications have been submitted to redevelop the property.
Yay.
And yeah, somewhere I think John Tarducci is smiling too, because we've talked about this for so long, and it was certainly something a little bit over a year ago when I started that had already been in the, happening for a long time. But, so many things that can happen during the course of that time, and that certainly has. But I think now it's going to be moving forward, and the first steps, obviously, were demolition. So we're really excited about that.
Fantastic.
128 Saltonstall Parkway, corner of Hemingway and Saltonstall, vacant building in an R1 zoning district. There are special standards for allowing business or professional offices within an R1 zoning district. The property has generated some interest according to zoning enforcement officer Joe Boudreau. 645 Foxton Road, former Rite Aid, and again, we've talked about some of the bigger buildings, and there's a couple of things happening right now with respect to that building. One of them involves someone we met with about 2 weeks ago, and the gentleman, I wanted to sort of update at least with him a little bit further since our meeting. He does have a son who was supposed to go back to school, had developed a bit of a condition, but everything is fine there. But again, these things, the process when someone comes to you and wants to meet, and then you talk about what their idea is, and then there's kind of some give and take there. So would that be great for the area? Well, obviously, we have our fair share of buildings that, the pharmacies that have closed, and that's been, the case around the country, but our concern obviously is here, and there have been a few people that we've talked in the past. It's Florida State University Booster Club that it was donated to, left to, and the first 3 years would be a lease situation. Now, if someone comes in, they can lease with the option to buy after that, and they're probably about 1.5 years into that situation. So, but it is getting interest. It had a few people that were close, a few businesses. I know in speaking with the broker from Florida State, there were a couple that kind of backed out last minute. But I think with what we've been presented with, I'd like this option among the three should it come to fruition. So that's kind of what's happening there. 845 Foxton Road, corner of Crest Avenue, excavation taking place which requires planning and zoning attention. Probably looking to expand the parking area there. And we know there's the need for more parking throughout the town. 920 Foxton Road, a retail store set up without a zoning approval. An application for a site plan review is being worked on as we speak. 744 Foxton Road, formerly Planet Zaza and Blossom Beauty Salon, property has been sold. A new owner has reached out to the town. In fact, I did speak with him this week. He was down in planning and zoning. He also met in my office, and he is showing what I would say a lot of interest in not just that location, but another building around town. And in fact, I put him in touch with the broker for that building. They talked that day or that night. He texted me at night, the young man, and then he said, can we talk tomorrow? He's really, really interested. So,
is that on the corner of Green Street and Foxton Road?
which one? The
one you discussed.
744?
744?
Yeah.
It's right next to the gas station.
Yeah, it's across from.
The gas station is to the right, and then, there's an auto body shop.
Yeah, and it's near ShopRite. It's near the
Yeah,
Rite
What's
Aid.
the business?
That's
the
Green
new-
Street, yeah.
The new owner, what business?
The new owner is talking about. I got to remember where he came in. That's the former Zaza.
Yep.
Zaza building.
Yep.
So that's he came in about that. He knows the owner of the building, as do I, and you had me for a moment there. So he came in about that, and as he was here speaking with planning and zoning about that, I happened to mention another building that I thought he might want to look at, and so he and another gentleman I met with recently are both interested. So
Okay.
hopefully.
A similar business that we're.
No,
Okay.
no, and it's much bigger as well. 119 Frontage Road, East Haven Terminal has submitted an application to DEEP for air emissions, looking to add gasoline as a product to be distributed out of the site, also to improve 8 fuel tanks. I'll be reaching out to the engineering firm to let them know that the activity is a regulated activity and that a site plan review application needs to be submitted to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I should say it would be really Joe Boudreau who would be reaching out there. 208 Main Street, which is the building we are in right now, Palermo Bar and Lounge has closed. That business is for sale. And 480 Short Beach Road, a cease and desist was sent due to operating without a state license as a general repairer, also for excavation in wetland areas. Pardon me, an attorney has reached out to Joe Boudreau, again, the zoning enforcement officer. So that's a look at some of the stuff that's happening around town. So one of the things that we're seeing too is there's a couple of businesses, one that moved from Hamden, the spa that moved from Branford, some of the developers out of New York City. So we're getting what seems to be one of the gentlemen I spoke with about housing. I mentioned to him something else, bigger, and he's a West Hartford guy who I believe was involved with Blueback Square when that all came together, and very successful at a young age. And he said, I'm interested in anything that improves and helps the town. So for a guy outside the town to look at that and has to see maybe what a lot of us inside the town see, maybe not as much outside, but I continue to be encouraged by that stuff. It's not like we're just nothing is happening. So and it doesn't always work out. But I do feel that when the first one happens, again at one of the bigger buildings,
Is he looking at one of our buildings currently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, and this was until, was it maybe a week and a half ago he was here?
Okay.
Didn't know him. Came in, had a nice discussion about what his plans were initially in terms of housing and all that, and affordable housing. And that, that's an area too that, Laura, you certainly would know, is everywhere. There's a shortage.
Sure.
And so we're having a lot of people come forward with ideas, and so a lot of that has been happening as well. But I'm also getting interest in people wanting to talk about the Rite Aid buildings and the Walgreens building.
Okay.
So far, the Rite Aid has received much more attention. The Walgreens, I think we talked about in August, what you have there as part of it is a pretty big building and not a ton of parking.
Yep.
So if you bring somebody in and it's a place that people are going to stay for an hour or 2 hours, then parking becomes
challenge.
more of an issue.
Sure.
But next door, parking after a certain time, like 5 o'clock. If it were to be a restaurant, it would be a big restaurant.
Sure.
And I've asked the broker handling Walgreens if I could, now this is even harder, but if we had 2 to 3 people interested, would you cut up the building? And they're not interested in doing
They're
that.
not interested.
Now, it does, it costs money to do that.
Sure.
If you're the owner, you've got to, put up walls and bathrooms and, probably sprinkler system. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's involved there, but, so we continue to talk about that, looking at some of places around the country where they have used buildings like that and transitioned it to something else. Thoughts, questions?
The Rite Aid on Main Street,
Yeah.
how many square feet is that?
Right on Main, I think is 14,000? Right now, most of them are like 14, 15. The one in Foxton, I think, is the biggest. I think that's 16. And someone that's interested in buying that building, the broker has two other people he's spoken with about that building. This third one, who is already a business owner in town, would use up about 6,000 of the square feet,
Okay.
which would leave another 9,000 or so that hopefully we could develop. But first things first. So there there might be one of a few different people moving in there if all thing goes the way the broker is telling me. But
That's the one on Foxton.
that's, yes, that's right near our Thompson Plaza, which remains a place that we continue to go after. Difficult when an owner doesn't want to sell. We understand why it's attractive to him, even in this state, but
Sure.
you're not going to get anywhere without trying, so we constantly try to go different avenues and see if we can entice him. But I think if and the Rite Aid on Hemingway is also gaining interest.
Oh, good.
You know, so again, it's a long process, but to get that interest, I like, and we'll see.
There's
you know,
more parking there.
there is. There's definitely more parking there.
Smaller building, so
Right,
there's.
right now there is.
Right now,
Right.
there's
Who knows
there's
what's
more
gonna
parking,
happen
sure.
on there, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like we're probably maybe a month or so away from the opening. Why do I always forget the name of that company? Burlington.
Okay.
I always know them as Burlington Coats.
Yeah.
Now it's just Burlington,
Yep.
and for some
Yeah, they
reason,
must have a lot, yeah.
I drove by there today and too, and it looks great. It was
So
someone,
October.
17th.
I think so, around.
Yeah, I think they announced the 17th.
Well,
or
the
something.
owner of the building has not. So Burlington may beat him to the punch, but as I said, I was there today, drove by there today, and there was someone at the Fall Festival that came up to me on Friday and said, "Thank you." I said, "For what?" And she loves Burlington, and I do think I think it'll be supported very well here. I think it's a great addition to the town. But, you know, now there needs to be more additions, you know, and that's what we hope for. But, so, you know, again, very excited about 990 Fox. And not only that something is happening, but I think it's places that most people like, enjoy, but more, and in the situation too with Little Columbia, I think that Wagyu beef and man, that's good. That's really good. But I do like it, and hopefully the information I received is true, that they will still offer you know, Colombian food too. So for the people that do like to go there from town or from outside the town as well, the sale should not affect them adversely, but to get something added to that with beef, so I'm excited about that.
Mojito, is that still in operation there on Main Street?
It is. It's funny, I think you bugged my office.
Well, no, I've talked about this before.
Mhm.
When are they open, on weekends or, because I don't see any activity.
I go by there during the day a lot, and if they're open, it would be at nights or possibly nighttime weekends. I've reached out about that as a possibility. I do have someone I think would be interested. I'm not sure if he would change the building at all or what, you know, that would, you know, take some doing, I think. Not 100% sure that the owner is willing to sell. I have heard some rumors, but I will be reaching out to the owner soon. But that did come up in discussions today.
How about the corner of Main and Bradley Ave? Gas station or repair shop now? Across from CVS.
Yeah.
You ever hear anything about that?
And now, is that, you're talking about the, what was it, 7?
Across the street from it on Bradley is the package store.
Yeah, no, I know where you're
Yep.
talking.
There's not much going on there.
No,
I do still see people in and around there.
Not very often.
Okay.
It's, I mean, they've come to ZBA and, you know, we told them what he had
Yep.
to do to clean it up, which he's done on the outside.
Okay.
He's done a lot with that.
Okay, good.
But, that's a pretty hot spot.
Sure.
yeah, and that's,
Very hot.
I think if they had been to planning and zoning, certainly it would have been included.
I don't think they've been to planning and
Red
zoning,
Jack,
right?
but it's something
It's
to
Red
keep
Jack?
in,
Yeah.
you know, in your mind.
Yep.
And I think that's Red Jack.
It is Red Jack,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
How about Amy? Sundays are going crazy?
Yeah, so we
right?
took a week off for the farmer's market last week for the festival in the rain. And we're back this Sunday, with the farmer's market again. It's been great. We had
Oh,
people
yeah, I've
come,
heard
we
it.
actually had
It
people
is
come
good.
down on,
Good place.
not to the farmer's market, but they happened to come to the green on Sunday. And they said that they picked the wrong Sunday because they thought the farmer's market was going on. But they drove 2 hours to try and find one of our vendors
Wow.
and to combine it to a trip to Transylvania because they heard so much about Transylvania on TikTok.
That's
So I
great.
thought that was pretty cool because
that's
these
real.
people say they came 2 hours, so they still got to see. They ended up, a couple of the vendors on Sunday stayed on the green, so they ended up seeing the vendor they came for, not knowing that they weren't going to be there. But they're going to come back in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I went-
Market runs till October
You must
12th.
be doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard all good things
Yeah,
about the
I
farmer's
think it's
market.
great.
Yeah, and Transylvania. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was there a couple weeks ago, because the first time when I went, you know, I've tried to get around to, some places, and, especially when I first started to introduce myself, and that was one of the places, especially because the significance and how long they've been around. And then I started hearing some things where things weren't going so well. She was thinking about selling, and I talked with her about that. And then all of a sudden, whatever's
You can't
happened,
get a parking
and
spot there,
it's,
yeah.
it's so great, and
There's a,
she's thrilled. I mean, she
there's-
really is.
There's a few TikTok influencers that have come from all over New England to come down there. They're actually getting ready to celebrate their third anniversary of opening.
Mhm.
They're having an event. They're having a Halloween party.
And they're ready for Halloween.
They are
They
ready
are
for
ready,
Halloween.
yeah.
In
I got
fact,
nervous when we saw all the rain the other day. I'm like, oh no, those skeletons.
Well, it's huge to have, with the history of that building, not only
Oh,
having
gosh,
it
yeah.
functioning, but also have it thriving
They
too.
have a lot of
Yeah.
events that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, they have a great business there, and that actually transitions in very well to. I was just at a tree lighting meeting at Transylvania, coincidentally. So for the chamber events, we have a couple coming up. That I just mentioned. Our annual tree lighting on the green in East Haven is always this Saturday right after Thanksgiving. This year it's November 29th. We are just putting everything together, but it's what you can expect from years past. We'll have our horse and wagon ride for families. We will have our cookie decorating from Petnitos. We will have, hopefully have all the PTAs come and help out, and we'll have the rides for the kids. We'll have Santa. We expect to have a naughty and a nice list, and we'll have a good time that day. So mark your calendars for November 29th, tree lighting on the green. We are sold out for our chamber conference in September. We do this once a year. It's at Lobster Shack. We are at capacity for that. And then in October, we are at Petnitos for a business after hours. And anything the East Haven Chamber does, all of these events are opened not only to chamber members, but they're open to the community. We really welcome the community. We like to have everyone come and enjoy what we do, especially at the tree lighting. We just wrapped up Lobster Palooza, which was August 20th, and it was a return to the 80s, and it could, I think that's the best decade, so it could not have been
It
more
is.
fun. But that's what we got going on at the chamber, so the Transylvania brought us right into that. But mark your calendars for that. Is there anything else, any other new business that should come before the board We've gotten the farmer's market, the chamber.
I mean, there's, again, there's certainly, discussion going on with, multiple, and, you know, in some of the, instances, it's also multiple people talking about a given business, whether it's
Sure.
buying a business, buying the building. So, you know, again, that's encouraging, but the amount of people coming into planning and zoning is encouraging as well.
That's
So,
wonderful.
you know, it's a lot of those, I talk about little victories, waiting for a big victory, and I think
Lots of little ones
I
make a
think
big one.
yeah, I think that's coming. Also spoke to a couple of people today about, ribbon cutting ceremonies.
Wonderful.
Oh,
And,
there's
We have one on
this weekend.
Saturday. We-
Center stage dance,
Yes,
right?
we do have a ribbon cutting. Thank you, Amy and Rich. We have a ribbon cutting this Saturday, 1:30 p.m., 32 Main Street. And again, these are open. We welcome the public to come and celebrate our new businesses here in town.
And it's
And they
nice for them to meet the owners too, and
Sure.
get familiar with one
And they
another.
participated in Family Fun Day at the
Yes.
market too.
Yeah,
Nice.
so let's all show up and welcome them. So no public comment. Is there anything else? Hearing none, we would need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:28. Thank you.
It's dark already.